ajuns și la magazinul Frederic Malle. Și în principiu cred că toată lumea s-a plictisit de mine până în punctul ăsta și acolo sunt pe cineva care știe ce s-a întâmplat să ne explice fără să-mi dau eu cu părerea.
The first time in our brand portfolio?
I actually know some fragrances from the brand, but it's the first time in your stock.
Oh, okay, that's great. So before we start, let me introduce you to the brands first, before we go on to their massive collection of different unique fragrance. So this is called Edition de Parfum Frederic Malle, simply because it's like a publishing house of perfume.
Yeah.
So we're quite different from most of the niche house, whereas most of them are evolving through the marketing of their brands.
Yeah.
Like whatever, like everything about the brand. Well, here, Frederic Malle invited most of the top perfumers and master perfumers in the world. He collaborated with them in a single brand like Frederic Malle, so that they will be given the chance, the creative freedom to create their own perfume with unlimited budget, with no time constraint, giving them the opportunity to create the most with the highest quality ever that you can ever think of in a fragrance. One of the big problems is that the perfumer themselves, the genius behind those successful fragrances, were never heard of.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why he had this amazing idea to approach the top perfumers, to collaborate and to give them the priority. If you notice each and every fragrance that we have, the script is even larger than the brand itself. So yes, we introduced them first beforehand, before what they are actually creating. Is there any kind of perfume that you are like opting for? Maybe I can...
I don't know, if I was really new to fragrance, let's say, what would you introduce me to first?
Of course, normally what everyone is looking for, what is the most popular? And in front of you is of course our most iconic fragrance, Portrait of a Lady, by one of the greatest master perfumer living, Mr. Dominic Ropion. Let me spray here first. How do you find it?
I like it, but it's more rose heavy. I don't really like the rose note in most of fragrances. Usually when it's so much rose lean, I mean, I feel this fragrance is built around the rose note. That's the heart of the fragrance. And it's not that I don't like it, I don't see myself wearing it. That's just, I mean, it's a really great fragrance, it really stands out.
So you're already familiar that it's built with a lot of roses?
Yes, I actually know it.
Okay.
It's so well known.
So let's get away from the ingredient itself.
Okay.
Because normally, whenever we had that engraved in our mind of a certain ingredient that we don't like, every time we see something or smell something in a certain perfume, it triggers that negativity already before we can understand the depthness of the scent. This perfume is a very magnetic scent, which is something very, very rare in a perfume. So there are many nice perfume. There are many bad perfume. You know the reason. They are called, like, we call them the head turner, because when you turn your head on them, you know the very reason itself. But somehow this perfume, let's disregard first the ingredients. The moment you smell it, actually most of the people cannot understand what it is. You know the smell of rose, totally, we know it. But if you overdose it, it changes in a way that it intensifies it. It's very dark, but not very pleasant. That's why he needed to put a lot of variant around it. And that's why this one has one of the most with ingredients, around that 400 Turkish rose, which is actually the highest ever in a bottle. Along with it is saffron, amber, sandalwood, frankincense, patchouli musk. Notice that from the first spray, as you go deeper into it, it's changing into something more mystifying. Like when people really smell it, they don't understand what it is, but they just cannot help themselves but ask, what in the world are you wearing? And it builds that curiosity. That's why it's very, very iconic to us, because it builds this curiosity. Which perfume that you know that give off that kind of experience to the user. There are many, but not as much as this one, because since the time it was released until now, it's still our best seller. But in regards with that one, sir, what is your most favorite kind of scent? What olfactory?
I don't really think I have one. It's more about the mood or the activity, I'd say. But I can tell you one I really love from Frederic Malle, actually. It's Musk Ravageur. I don't think I pronounced that right.
Correct.
But that one I really love.
We're on the same page because that is actually my favorite as well. May I familiarize it with you? So one of our classic collection, actually. We have a 9 classic, whereas these perfumes were the first mover in the brand of Frederic Malle, which is what you see in the middle.
Okay.
And when he had the idea, he also approached Maurice Roussel. This kind of new idea in approach with the perfume business. And directly when he was sitting at the desk, he opened his drawer and directly showed this amazing perfume, Musk Ravageur, which is well known as the sexiest perfume in our collection.
Some would argue the sexiest perfume in the world.
I can say that,
I know
actually.
people who call it that. And for good reason.
For good reason. So, not only it smells sexy actually in the blogs, some of the blogs of Frederic Malle, he always portrayed like in a very dark and with fire sometimes, because he actually defined his perfume like fire. Because this perfume, not only it smells sexy with those warm, milky, powdery, sweet at the latter end, with a huge amount of animalic mass. Not only that, it reacts in our skin, which is quite very unique. As our skin accumulating such body heat, so does the perfume. That's why it's very sexy. Plus, the range of this one, it has that amazing olfactive. It's a standout perfume with an extreme longevity. If you have tried it on your
I know.
your clothes, one time I tried it in my uniform. I got a steamer. I still feel it after having it washed.
Wow.
That's how amazing the longevity of this perfume. So you have a magnetic, a floral oriental scent. You have an amber oriental scent. Would you like to discover something different from that?
Yeah.
So since I see you wearing in a very rugged and casual way, so let me try for you French Lover. Created by one of the first perfumer that he approached. One of the closest to him actually, Mr. Pierre Bonbon. Are you familiar with David of Cool Waters? Yeah, Kuros by Yves Saint Laurent. He is the creator of that scent. Take your time in this perfume because it tends to switch in a very fast pace. So the beginning of the scent, you're gonna feel the greeniness of it because the opening is vegetal herbs, such as the vetiver and the galbanum.
It's very earthy somehow.
Correct, sir.
That's the way I perceive it.
You're correct. So you're already detecting the patchouli and the tobacco leaves around it.
Yeah.
Switching to tobacco. But the moment it softens up, and the moment the other ingredients pops up, like the pimento, angelica flower, and juniper berry, the whole combination is gonna give you the reminiscent of the smell of leather. Except that in the formulation there's actually no leather. So most people here in the Arabia, the moment they smell, first it smells like a brand new car.
It does somehow.
When you buy a new luxury car like a Mercedes, BMW like that, it gives you that kind of elegance. But in a very masculine way. Like a man in a white shirt and jeans, but smells very luxurious. And that's French Lover. The scent is quite charismatic also because in our store, it has one of the highest approval rate from women. They love it on men because of that natural smell of manliness, especially when they smell it on the skin of men. In the next one, I will define this perfume personally like a man in a suit on a daytime. Very formal, very elegant, with strong personality. But charming to women as well, of course. It just have that kind of cleanliness. It's crisp. It's strong persona. With the highest dose of vetiver, it's giving you that kind of vegetal earthiness which is ultra masculine. Quite opposite of French lover, because it's more formal.
Yeah, it really is. And I think it has some playfulness to it too. I mean, it's serious, but not all that serious.
Exactly, so yeah. In my perception, the first time I smell this perfume, the first image that comes into my mind, George Clooney.
Yeah, yeah, that's perfect.
How he characterizes masculinity, especially to women and to other co-stars. So far we have tried one of our best-selling fragrances, most of it. So let's try something a bit more lighter this time, so I will not mess up with your olfactive. So let's move to Mr. Jean-Claude Delanne, one also of the most favorite perfumer. Ex-perfumer of Hermes, known for his very artistic kind of perfumes, because normally he created perfumes based on, like, you see it like paintings, like canvas. It's minimalist. So if you have tried most of the fragrance there, the moment you smell this one, you will know that there is a signature of Jean-Claude Delanne in this one, but you let him loose. So this one has the highest dose of bigarad or bitter orange. So high that if you close your eyes, it feels like someone is actually peeling the fruit in front of you. You can feel the bitterness of the skin. As it settles, you are diving through the sweetness and citrusness and zestiness of the fruit. So that's the big difference. When you smell it from another brand, it smells like just one image. You smell it here, it's like you're touring around that very image itself, like it's 8-dimensional. You just have those details.
No, I think this is the most complex citrus fragrance I've smelled so far.
Exactly, Sir Christian. This one has the highest dose of bigarad. So when you tend to overdose such ingredient, it's really hard to manipulate it, because there will be like what you call the balance.
Yeah.
It's like, to put it this way, like you color yellow, white, blue, red, then suddenly you put black on top. Normally what you see is only black. But if you manage to still make the other people see the other colors, now that's magic. And that's what's in Frederic Malle collection is. Another in our 9 classics is Magnolia, created by the first ever master perfumer, Carlos Benat. So we keep on talking about perfumer and master perfumer. So master perfumer is the highest rank that can ever achieved by a perfumer. And so far that I know of, there's only 8. And 3 of them is now in our house.
Wow.
So one was Dominic Ropion. Second, another one is Carlos Benat. If you're familiar with Polo by Ralph Lauren, a perfume that can never go wrong. Any time of the day, any time of the season, any gender. And the best thing about this perfume, normally when you try very fresh fragrance, like most of the fragrance, they don't really last that much. It's because in order for them to retain its freshness and lightweightness, you need to do something like sacrifice a bit of the base.
Yeah, of course.
So the base will not overtake much, and it will not smell like it's gonna be like going through like a depthness. So this one, it's actually a very long-lasting fragrance. Simply he infused a little bit of more dynamic duo underneath it, which is the opus and patchouli. But the very concept of this Magnolia is he wanted to portray the real scent of the magnolia flower itself. If you pick up like the petals of the magnolia and you sniff it, this is what you get. Citrus, aquatic, watery floral chiffre. Another one is called En Passant by Olivia Giacobetti. She is well known in some of the brands like Diptyque or L'Artisan, engaging more of a classic modern style of perfumery, but very elegant. So the name is En Passant, or passing through, because if you close your eyes again and smell it, it feels like the cold air passed by with the scent of flowers in it. We even call this actually lilac in the wind. It just has that cold, airy, fresh floral scent, closer to nature. You will love this for sure.
I like this one.
It just gives you that kind of comforting feeling.
Yeah.
Like you've smelled this, you've experienced this when you were a child. The most meticulously created by Dominic Ropion, Cardinal Flower. This one has the highest dose of natural tuberose ever in a perfume. So high, again if you close your eyes, it makes you feel like you're totally in the field of tuberose.
It does.
Do you imagine yourself there?
I've never been, so it's just imagination at this point, but yeah.
So this one has the highest quality of tuberose, and at the same time, it was very meticulously created by Mr. Dominic Ropion because it took him at least 695 trials just to be convinced that, okay, this is perfect. We can release it.
It's just wow. It's really nice.
So the beginning is quite, there's like a greeny floral scent on it, like a bouquet of flowers. But the moment it's softening, you will notice that it's becoming like a little bit sweet or milky. Because aside from the overdose of tuberose on it, it has that kind of coconut accord. And since tuberose is known as an aphrodisiac flower, so this scent tends to become warm and very, very seductive. That's why it's well known as that's why he called it carnal flower or seductive flower. And of course, iris powder, one of our first releases. So this is a very aldehydic perfume. So aldehyde is like it's an accidental ingredient in the formation of the formulation when they were doing Chanel number 5 before, and we adapted that here. And if you notice, aldehyde is actually giving out this kind of elegance, clean elegance. I call this a woman in a white dress. The scent is very finesse. It has that femininity on it because of the vibrance of the iris, a warm touch of jasmine pushed by the tonka, and the support of the aldehydes underneath it. So as it softens up, it's gonna give you that kind of very addictive, comforting feeling of cleanliness.
What's your favorite from those 2, 4, 6, 7, 9?
To be really honest, this one.
This one?
This iris powder, I really like it. Probably wouldn't wear it that much, but I love it. And other than that, I think I also Picard Concentrate is also really great for me. That one I think I would wear all the time.
So giving that thought on the one that you have chosen, I think, if I'm correct, you like clean scents.
Yeah. Not always, but most of the time I tend to go for the clean ones.
Clean ones, and that's actually what you're wearing now. This is actually like very compatible in your fashion at the moment. And in regards with that, can I try something else for you? This one is again by Dominic Ropion. Cologne Indelible.
Okay.
So Cologne Indelible is like a pronouncement for a cologne that lasts. So we're all familiar with cologne. Cologne is a very likable scent. But one problem with cologne, they go away easily. Because in order for them to be on the state of eau de cologne, they need to be very, very light on the composition of the essential oil against with the alcohol. Again, the scent, it has that kind of cleanliness again on it.
Yeah.
It's actually more leaning in our side. It's like for me, it's like a man in a polo shirt and jeans. It's just like a more of a semi-formal scent.
Yeah.
Very clean, very natural, very fresh, invigorating scent.
I think it's an everyday scent but with a twist.
With
it's
a
more
twist.
than that.
Correct. So it's because you know that it's Dominic Ropion, so it's more than that.
Yeah.
So the scent is actually has the lightweightness of a cologne. It feels like a cologne. The weight is even like a cologne, but actually this perfume is not a cologne. It's eau de parfum disguising like a cologne. So it's giving you off that kind of longevity, adeptness, but the feeling is still like cologne scent. So that's the genius behind this perfume.
I was wondering why do you store the fragrances in fridge?
Good question. So, if you notice our ambience, this thing is like an apartment, but this one is like a representation of the laboratory, whereas it's giving you the idea that Frederic Malle have given them the free access to the laboratory to have that free access to the finest quality ever there is of ingredients. And also, not only that, if you are putting your very luxurious perfume in a manner of 15 to 19 degrees Celsius, the perfume is in pristine level.
So
That's one of the best way to take care of your ultra luxury fragrance like Frederic Malle.
see, that's really cool.
We need this at home.
Yeah, you need to get a fragrance.
Yes, of course, especially if you are collecting. For sure, you're a perfume connoisseur. Yeah.
Yeah, we are. Also, I was wondering if I could try the moon,
Okay. Now,
just to take things in a whole different direction.
okay. So let's go to an even more advanced level of perfumery. So a long time ago, in France, these perfumers, whenever they see people in abaya or kandura, they smell something. And when they smell this something, it mystified them. They're not very familiar yet with that kind of scent. So they visited Dubai like many years back and learned how is the Arabian way of perfumery. When they get to familiarize themselves with it, as they went back to France, they created the desert jam line.
Okay.
So the first that they created was the night. I'm not gonna give you this one first. You know why?
Yeah.
So let's go first with, if I can start with Promise. The reason why I'm starting with Promise because out of this 4 collection, this is the only perfume that smells like Arabian oud, but totally there's no oud on it. This is well known as the shadow of oud. So the beginning, the intensity, gives you off that kind of reminiscent of oud, except the fact that there's zero oud in the formula. That's why it's well known like the shadow, a shadow only of oud. So the beginning is actually a high density of patchouli, coated with labdanum or frankincense, along with amber and pepper, giving you that warm, edgy feeling. On a parfum level, that's why it has that heaviness, that intensity. But by the minutes, if you are very patient with it, the moment it gets soft actually, when this base breaks, something sweet is rising. If you not just keep on smelling it, you're gonna smell something sweet, and that is the apple accord. Do you detect that, Mr. Krishan?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I mean, I feel it sweetened up a bit.
That sweetness is actually the apple accord, the most fragile ingredient that is holding off those heavy ingredients. Along with the apple accord is the 2 roses. So you have the Turkish rose and the Bulgarian rose, a representation of 2 persona having a strong bond, like a promise. And the same olfactive promise, but this time a more advanced level. So advanced level meaning it was infused with something very rare and very hard to manipulate, which is quite the natural food. Created by Mr. Julian Raskinen, the last apprentice of Mr. Pierre Bourdon. Mr. Julian Raskinen is working with the IFF in the region of the Middle East, so he was tasked to do this because he's so familiar with the culture as well. If you notice, there is like a very vibrant fruity notes on the top.
Yeah, it's raspberry.
See? So have you been in a shisha restaurant?
Yes.
If you go there, there's a smell in the air, the accumulation of different flavors. So that's actually the reminiscent for the top note.
Oh.
Mixed with natural wood, of course, saffron, roses, and leather. So this perfume is very vibrant. Very standout fragrance. Would you like to have a try?
It's strong.
It is. And the moment it gets getting softer, the more interesting it becomes as well.
It's like a declaration. It's like a statement.
Exactly. It's actually a declaration of love. You are actually correct there. So the name is the moon. Not only when there is like a meeting or a gathering of people under the moonlight. Also in the region of the Middle East, couples are like calling each other like, "You're my moon," a declaration of love, and that's one of the components of the moon, or al-qamar in Arabic calligraphy. We go on further, and let's try this time al-fajr or dawn. So this is named dawn because Carlos Benem wanted to achieve something very unique in this creation. If you wake up in the earliest morning in a very positive way, and the sun is just about to arise, you have this amazing positivity. We call it a meditative feeling. A very warm, very peaceful feeling. If you imagine that thought, but in a sense of an imagination of fragrance, this will be it.
I can see why.
This one is very, very close to the old tradition of Arabian way of perfumery. A mix of two most important ingredients, which is the natural wood, along with the luban or the frankincense.
Yeah, really, lots of frankincense in here. I think that's what I like about it.
So wood is a very strong ingredient, but with the frankincense, it's being calmed down, and it's giving more warmth and depthness.
Yeah, actually, if you smell it like this and you don't know what's in it, you detect the frankincense, but not really the wood at first, because the wood really takes a backseat to frankincense here, and it's a really vibrant and strong frankincense. But without taking it to the church side of things. I mean, I don't feel it like the way you find it in other brands. It's really beautiful frankincense.
It's the highest quality because we could get it from of course, the highest quality is in. Last but not the least, the jewel of the crown, the knife.
So this is the best seller from
The
this
most
collection.
popular. The most popular of all. It is bestseller in some regions, but here not much. It's because of its very luxurious. It's very luxurious. But overall, globally, if we sum it up, it is the number one. Take time with it because it has a very strong aroma at first, simply because this one, this time the wood is being pushed out. Like you're really smelling the pure oil wood itself. Now normally before to have this, to achieve this kind of scent, you have to buy those oils, which is actually limiting you in incorporating it in your body, because all you need to do is just drop a little bit on your palm, tap it, and then put it in your pulse area. But how about if you can spray it this time and scatter it all over your body as you walk? All of the people around you is looking at you because this scent is amazingly magnetic.
And I'm sure it leaves a big trail.
Exactly. A trail of the highest quality, which is the natural wood, along with the hundreds of roses and so many other base components: saffron, amber, sandalwood, and patchouli musk. It's actually considered as the most complex formula ever in our collection.
I mean, when you smell it, it's not just this or that.
Yeah,
A lot of things are going on here.
Exactly, Sir Christian. So for most people who are not yet familiar with wood, they just really need to have the patience with it because the wood is a very strong aroma. But giving it some patience, the moment it tones down by the minutes, it's becoming really beautiful. It's like a rock when you dig up on it and there's a gem inside it.
It's too strong for me.
It's a fragrance you'd call a bit challenging.
Yes.
I mean, it's a fragrance for someone who's done the steps. You go through the designer, the clean ones, and then you want something more and more and more. And at some point, I think you arrive at this destination.
I'm gonna go with this one.
This one?
Yeah,
From all of this is the one.
yeah.
Okay, I think that's the cardinal flower, maybe.
Or maybe iris poudre.
I don't think it's the iris poudre. It might be the eau de magnolia.
You're correct. It's not the magnolia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. There you go. Sorry.
Well, thank you so much for this experience.
You're
It's been
welcome.
really,
Anytime, Mr.
really
Krishna.
great.
Is there anything else that you might maybe is giving you the curiosity in regards with our collections?
Now at this point, I think I don't think I can smell anything more. I think the conclusion with the night was perfect, just perfect. I don't think after you smell the night, probably most fragrances would be like, okay, it's nice, but it's not on that level of I don't know, personality, let's say, of the fragrance.
But notice that most of the fragrances that I've shown you, actually, if you go in most of the brands, 4 to 5 fragrance, nose is done.
Yeah,
But did you notice that you smelled more than that?
you're right.
Because so not only the quality is there, it's the clarity of the scent.
Yeah, exactly.
And each and every fragrance, if you notice, they're totally different from each other. None is repetitive, and so that most of the clientels who are coming to us, they can arrange or they can put themselves in the characterization of the perfume to find their signature scent, which one is compatible with them, alongside with their character, and especially what you said earlier, the mood.
Yeah.
This has been great, and thank you so much for your time and
Thank you
your
so much.
expertise and everything.